Alrighty, if you go to today's Moodle page, under the unit exercises, there's a new folder, and inside that folder there are 4 sets of stories. Pay attention on the instructions. So I say for exercise 1, you're going to use story set 1. Exercise 2, the mugshots, set 2. When you download these, you've got a zip file, and you open them up. Here's story set 1. It's just a text file, completely text. I'm giving you the headlines to play around with, and I'm giving you the body copy. You don't have to make up your own headlines. Congratulations, you're welcome. You can change it up and to fit as needed. For things like set 3 that have photographs with them, notice the name of the photograph is the same name as the article itself. And inside of the article, I'm giving you the cut lines, so you don't have to make up any cut lines or headlines. You're welcome. So let's jump in. I've got my broadsheet dummy, and if I open it up, did I already make one? I did make one. We'll say okay to that. Come on, there we go. This should be the same thing that you created before. I've got my paragraph styles that I can work with for body copy and for my headlines. And everything should be, yeah, there's my baseline grid that I'll place it into. So for things like the first exercise, try to place these on the first and second pages. You can spread them out. You can add more pages as necessary. First and second. Let's make a 1-column story. Story set 1. Come on. There we go. Here's a trick. If I drag this into here, I can now click and drag out my title, and you can see it fits well within there. It's already set to be a headline. Let's make it body copy, and now the body copy fits really well. Of course, I do need to have a text box for my headline. I'm just going to place it in there for now. Let's follow our rules that we just learned. If I've got a 1-column article, how tall or short can that column be? 2 to 12 inches. Uh-oh. Now remember, you can't cut any of these. You got to use the articles that are here. How tall is this so far? About 20 inches tall. So obviously, this story is going to take up about 20 column inches. I need something about half that size. So let's look at the other ones and see if those will work out better. Uh-oh, renamed it. There's that one. Is that one shorter or longer? Longer. About the same. About the same. Ooh, much longer. So, none of those stories are going to fit inside of a 1-column size. We're not going to do any jumping or any editing for now. Here's where you can find more stories that you can use. And you can do this for your exercise and for your project. If you do a search, I love to use the AP News. Find a reputable news site. AP News, Clarion Ledger uses AP. The New York Times has their own press things. From here, you can actually find other news articles and where to pull them in. So frustration grows, armed standoff. I can look at this one and tell it's probably pretty long. Under special coverage, we found some under oddities. This one's really cool. Stolen cheese worth $70,000. Hey, this is a nice short article right here. I think that's well under number that we need. So we'll copy that. Let's paste it into here. I think that's less than 12 inches. Yep, it's pushing closer to 5 inches for now. We do need to remove the double spaces. And let's get the headline as well. Paste that. We'll make it a small headline. Now it's simply a matter of placing it in here. When I say stay within the columns, I mean the column structure of your actual grid. So even though this is 1 column, don't do something like this. See how it's straddling 2 of them? This would be considered bastard measured, which is what we don't want to get into just right now. So we'll sure that up. Let's make my headline look good. How many lines can a single column headline
3 to 4.
3 to 4? Okay. I think I can get away with a little bit larger font size. Making it larger kind of fills in that area. So 26 looks good. Maybe even up my kerning. A little bit too much. That looks a little bit better. As far as the distance between your headline and your body copy, you want to have at least 12 points between the two. 12 points. What was the distance on your US broadsheet? What's the distance between two baselines here?
13.
Y'all remember? Exactly, it's 13. You can go into your preferences, and here's our baseline grid. We set those for 13. So if you've got 12, that's more than enough that you need. You want to have one distance between those two. So as I move it up, that right there is too close. Move it one down, perfect, right there. That is a well-formed headline of a single article. What do I need to do next? Widows and orphans. Get rid of those pesky widows and orphans. Can't get rid of that one. Do the best we can. Oop, looks like I closed off that one. Oop, can we get rid of that one? Go up. There we go. You can keep hyphenation on. That's actually okay for these. It was the other one that we turned off hyphenation. Okay, that reads really well. So there's a 1 column. Let's do a 3 column story. We'll use the stories that were given. Let's try the Russian spy one now. Click and drag over 3 columns. Turn it into body copy. And then plug in and format. Everything needs to have its own text box. So I'm cutting out my headline. I'm letting it flow all the way over the 3 columns. Let's do a medium serif. Of course, we need to get rid of that. And let's put this into 3 columns by itself. Doot, doot. How short can this be? 2 inches. I don't think we'll have that problem. So there's that. I'll need to square that up a little bit. How many lines can a 3 column? 1 or 2. So let's see if we can, how can I cut that back to 2? Could decrease the tracking. Let's see if we can, if I made it 1 point size smaller. Oh, that's my leading. Don't want to do that. I've got kind of a weird break. U.S. announces charges in new. York Russian spy. Kind of want to keep New York together. Let's go back up. And let's just say spy ring. Charges in spy ring. And I can work with that one. How close does this need to be? Tell me when I'm getting too close. Is that okay? Too close? Right about there. Yep, got 1. Even though I've got descenders going there, that's totally okay. That looks like a good spacing for this one as well.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be 13 points from the descenders. It can just be like
correct, yeah, from the baseline. The baseline is what you're going to pull from. Good question. If you really wanted to get fancy, you can make it, small caps or all caps, and we'll keep it like this for now. That's kind of the beauty of the art of laying these out. You can change things around. You don't have to stay with that one given style. You can always reformat different stuff. So there's 1 column, there's a 3 column. You'll do the same for a 2 and a 4 column with the different headlines. Notice that I didn't put any decks in these. You don't have to have decks for these exercises. Aesthetically, however, it does kind of look a little bit better, but we'll get into that when we do page layout. Let's do another one. Open up my pages. We'll add a couple more. Starting on the 3rd pages, let's see if we can add some with a mugshot. We're going to use story set 2. So you can see here's the article, headline, cut line, body copy. Here's the photograph that goes along with it. Ugh. Okay. I'm recording, so yeah. Let's see. So for this one, let's do a Let's do a 3-column story. We'll do some stuff with it. I can go ahead and place 3 columns into there. Drag in my Facebook thing. Format it. Headline. Paste it and style it. Uh-oh. There it is. Medium. Let's put his picture in here. We'll talk about sizing and everything. Ah, how can I quickly format it up?
Just like that.
Auto fit, yeah. As far as sizing goes, this does bring up a good question. How do you appropriately size someone's picture? This is okay right here, as long as you're seeing his whole face. You definitely don't want to crop it too close, else it looks weird. You don't want to cut off things like the top of his head. So even if I shrunk this down, that would be a bad crop. You want to have at least the whole head in there and to have it comfortably fit inside of your squared box. It goes without saying, don't do something like this. What's wrong with that? Squashed. Yeah, disproportionate. Keep everything proportionate as you place it in there. And let's give it a cut line, which is this right here. Now it's simply a matter of formatting everything. Since this is 3 columns, let's put that into 3 columns. We'll put this up at the top. Glitches cause horrible. Gonna bring it down. Ooh, now I got a big old opening here. So I'm not going to worry with the headline. Let's worry more with the photograph that we can work with. In our book, y'all turn to the mugshot pages. How can I lay out 3-column story with a half-column mugshot? Okay, that's what I'm looking for. So that'd be easy enough to pull from. If I shrink them down, when I say half column, that's exactly what it means. About half the column right there. You can actually go a little bit smaller. You'll actually see me usually go smaller than half the column. How do I turn on the wrapping? Up here at the top, button here at the top. Turning it on is not enough. Notice how close that is. I've got to have some outset. So select your photo. Got my text wrap. We'll give it a little bit of distance between the two there. This will cause some awkward breaks along here. This is why I try to make it as small as possible while still looking good. As far as the cut line goes, I can change this up to be, of course, a different size, bold, condensed. But usually for a small half-column size, you don't want to have the entire cut line as a part of it. So it would look something like this, even with some outset from here. Notice how that's hard to read? Like it's hard to distinguish this even from that. If it's a small one, just his name alone would be enough to warrant that cut line. Let's turn it off and get rid of the bottom wrap. We'll pull it up. And let's turn off the bottom wrapping from there. Uh-oh. There we go. Push that. So that looks a lot better from there. The rest of it, need to square it off. Change up my formatting with this. Pull that down. Too close? Too close. That looks a lot better. Need to fix my headline just for the sake of time. You're not going to watch me do this. Let's do the 4-column story with a mugshot on the left. Ooh, can I get away with that? We'll use the same thing. If I took this photograph and a cut line, moved him out of the way. Photograph, cut line. When I say a 4-column story, this is what I'm looking for. I mean, the story is 4 columns, and the picture is going to be on the side of it. Does that make sense? So it's actually 5 columns total. You need to turn off wrapping. So on the first one, a 1-column story with a mug shot, a 3-column story. And with this one, I can actually get away with the longer cut line. Mark Zuckerberg, founder and CEO, Summit, da 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 da. What's wrong with this one?
Cut line extends below.
Way too much. So I need to reformat this press conference at the G8 forum. I could probably end it right there, and the world would be happy. I could reformat this. Actually, that's one too much. Let's pull this up. Much better. See how it extends all the way to the top there? I wouldn't want it to be any smaller. And so there's a multi-column story. Now we need to bring that out as well. Any questions? I did.
Cut lines.
Yeah?
Does it have to be, it can be like directly under the picture, does it have to have 12 points of space in between the pictures?
Correct. Correct. Yes, it can be directly underneath it. You actually want the cut lines to be relatively close to the picture so that it works really well. Kind of along those lines, your cut lines don't have to follow the baseline grid. If you wanted to turn off baseline grid for the cut lines and adjust the size of your font, so make it smaller or make your leading a little bit smaller, you can get away with that too. That actually would work. The downside to that is it's kind of difficult to line it directly up underneath there. But you're right. Keep your cut lines as close as possible to your photographs. Let's do one more. New page. Let's do one with some large photographs. Story set 4. 4, these are vertical photographs, so anti-terror raids. Some of these photographs are going to be very small, so if they show up blurry on your work, that's okay. 2-column vertical story. Let's do 2-column. Will this fit 2-column? Body copy? I think so. Oh, too many. There's 2. Let's put a headline to it. Headline large, headline medium. I think I can get away with medium. How many lines does it need to be? Awkward break there. Let's see if we can get it down to 3. Only 5 people. Ebola. You can do a better job on that as well. Where does my picture need to go? Right here or right here?
Above.
Above. Always above. Get rid of body copy there too. Since it's a nice vertical one, throw him in there. Paste my cut line in there. Hey, I don't have a paragraph style for cut lines. Let's make one real quick. I'll highlight this text, make it, give it a name. Now all I got to do is highlight this text and choose cut line, and it's done. And go home and watch Bonanza. So there's that. You don't want, same way with this one, you don't want that to be too close. Give it about 12 picas as well from there. Pull this up. I could probably go a little bit bolder for this. Let's do a sans serif. Five treated for breaking. Only 5 people treated for Ebola in country. There we go. There we go. Works out pretty good. I can get away with making this a little bit taller or shorter. Other than that, everything looks good. Actually, let's make him a little bit bigger. That reads a lot better. Get rid of that first line indent. Other styles you can do, maybe a bold-faced lead-in. And he's a minister of Liberia. And then the rest of this could be, I don't know, regular or italics. Bold-faced lead-in, reason with that. Pretty cool? Okay. That's what you're doing as far as these exercises go. You're taking the articles and you're making them fit. Be sure to work on your widows, orphans, get rid of those in your body copy. That's one thing you didn't see me do a lot of. Almost.